yes, life can be long, but it can also be short, and it's not fair, and we know it's not fair. So why spend so much time that we have here doing shit we don't like doing things we don't want to do, being around people that we don't want to be around who aren't good for us? Like, why do we stay in that path? Why do we stay in that lane and not change our life for the better? If we only have a certain amount of time, whether it's 40 years, 80 years, 100 years, whatever it might be, why not try to fill as much of that time as possible doing the things that we want to do, doing the things that make us happiest, and most likely doing the things that makes the world better, because it's our best version of ourselves contributing to the greater good. All right, so for today, I'm bringing out everything for today's episode of the Daily Pursuit. I'll give you a warning, we might go longer than usual. I've got the camera for YouTube, got the camera for TikTok, recording it so it's the podcast and the audio is better. But just had a wake-up call, as we sometimes have in life, yesterday, and it really prompted me to kind of share some more on today's episode. So I planned out this week's episodes. I'm taking Leo to California with me tomorrow. I wanted to pre-record so I didn't miss anything. But then I logged in yesterday on Twitter and saw a friend of mine sharing with everybody, saw it on LinkedIn as well, that her husband had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer. This is a beautiful family, tremendous people. I don't know him, but I know the wife, and she's amazing. She's a good friend, and recently was talking to her and learning more about him. And I have no doubts that they as a family and he as an individual will win this battle. But unfortunately, and this is how life is, we get these wake-up calls that sometimes it's ourselves and sometimes it's other people. And it's a shame that we have to have events like this that make us think twice about what it is that we're doing and reprioritizing our life. But that's what pursuit is all about and why it's so important for me. Because yes, life can be long, but it can also be short, and it's not fair, and we know it's not fair. So why spend so much time that we have here doing shit we don't like doing things we don't want to do, being around people that we don't want to be around who aren't good for us? Like, why do we stay in that path? Why do we stay in that lane and not change our life for the better? If we only have a certain amount of time, whether it's 40 years, 80 years, 100 years, whatever it might be, why not try to fill as much of that time as possible doing the things that we want to do, doing the things that make us happiest, and most likely doing the things that makes the world better, because it's our best version of ourselves contributing to the greater good. And I don't want to pretend like I can even imagine what their family is going through, although we've had our own little scare. I shared with the wife yesterday that my wife Ange had a brain tumor. Granted, it wasn't cancerous, about 7-8 years ago, and brain surgery, the whole deal. And thankfully she's happy, she's healthy. She's gone on since then to start her business, and we have a great family and a great life. But it's scary when you have those moments and we get reminded of how fragile life really is. So maybe we won't go as long as I thought I would go, and maybe I'll save that for a Friday episode and dive deeper. But being reminded how precious life is, being reminded how little time we actually have, even if it's 100 years, in the grand scheme of things, that's not very long. To just make sure you're filling your days and your time with as much happiness, with as much fulfillment, with as much good for others, serving others, putting others first, and creating a great experience while we have this time. Make sure that's what your efforts are. And that's why I'm so big on finding and following your passions. You don't have to know what your passion is right away. Maybe you do know what it is, but bring that more to the center of your life. And that is going to lead you to the people, to the places, to the things that are going to make you happiest. And when you are happiest, you can be your best for other people. Ram Dass says that our best thing that we can do is be the best version of myself so I can be the best me for you. How can you be better than doing what you are called to do, doing what makes you the happiest? And I know there's a financial component to it. I'm a financial advisor. That's kind of how I got to where I am with this thought process. Is yes, you do need to understand the finances behind it and planning for it, but that can come secondary. Figure out what are the things that are most important. It's why I love life planning, and I started to incorporate that in my practice. George Kinder is the godfather of life planning. My friend Scott Frank introduced me to the concept, and when I learned about it, it was just natural that that's the way you should always be working with clients. And I'll get to how that ties into pursuit in a second. But digging deeper, understanding why people want to do the things they want to do, why they view money the way they do, why they've made the decisions, and learning more about who they are on a deeper level allows you to create a plan that's more in line with their life and what they want to do. And that was just natural to me and how I kind of work with clients. And as I dove into life planning, I really liked the more focused approach to doing that when it comes to financial planning. And George Kinder has 3 questions, and I've morphed them as a part of the RLS Wealth onboarding process to my own language, but they all center around mortality. Because mortality, when we're faced with it, whether ourselves or somebody close or somebody that we know, makes us really think about, well, if that was me, or if I only have so much time, what would I be doing with that time that's left? Well, mortality is only coming closer every single day. You are already dying. So what are you going to do with the remaining time that you have to make sure you don't have those regrets? So the Kinder questions, as I've morphed them, are: you go to the doctor, you find out you have 5 years to live. You don't know when you're going to die. You're not going to feel sick. It's not going to be painful, but you just don't know when. What are you going to do? What are you going to reprioritize in your life? 1 year left. Same thing. What are you going to do? What are you going to reprioritize? And a lot of times, a lot of the things that we're doing day to day that we don't enjoy, those would be the things we would get rid of. Well, why wait until your last year or your last 5 years to do that? That's where the planning comes in, and how do you change the numbers and how do you structure that? But why wait until you get that news to make those changes? And then the final question is, and this is to me very telling, you go to the doctor, you find out today is your last day. It's not what would you do in the last 24 hours, but what did you not do? What did you not accomplish? Who did you not become? What are your regrets? And you sit and you think with that. And then that's where we get to planning. So, okay, if those are your regrets, and if today was your last day, those would be the things that you regret. Well, we've got time, hopefully. What can we change from now into the future so that when you are faced with this predicament, when you do find out you have a limited amount of time left, if you're so lucky or maybe unlucky to find that out, you don't have those regrets? So think about that. Like that was, again, I hate the fact that we had this wake-up call, but that's what pursuit is. What are those answers to those questions? How do you bring those into your life? How do you recenter those things? And I think and I believe your passions will be a big part of that. Could be family, could be creating more, could be just doing a different job, doing a different career. I don't know what it's going to be for you. I know what it is for me, and that's you can look at my life, and I've changed those things to make that happen. So, I think I'll end at that. I think I'll go dive a deeper Friday episode on this concept, but I just couldn't quit thinking of the family, sending them all the positive vibes that I can send and prayers. If you are a praying person, if you would pray for them, that would be awesome. If you're not, whatever form of sending support to a family you can do. I know that they're going to get through this, but all the help they can get will be beneficial. But let's take this as an opportunity to recenter ourselves going forward. And what's most important? What would you change? And start working towards changing that today. Embrace the toughness, embrace the sacrifice, because when you get to the other side of it, it's going to lead you to a life that makes you happier, more fulfilled, and you're surrounded doing the things that you enjoy the most, with the people you love the most, and it creates a better version of you to go out and be a better version of yourself to everybody else. So think of the family, pray for the family, and then start reconfiguring your life so that if you find yourself in their situation, your regrets are less. It doesn't mean you're going to be happy to be in that situation, but you know you've given yourself the best opportunity to live the best life, the life that you want to live, not the life that somebody else told you you're supposed to live. So with that, I will let you get to your day. Thank you for coming with me on my pursuit. I'm honored to be a part of yours, and let's keep pursuing.